he was obviously under arrest, and I was like, idiot. So today I'm going to give you 5 things what not to do on your next trip here to Thailand. I've even got a bonus one for you. Now, some of these are painfully obvious, yet I see people doing them every single day. So come for a walk with me through Bangkok and let me tell you what not to do on your next trip here. Oh, by the way, if you live here or spend any amount of time here, you should know these already. Now, number 5, and this is kind of an obvious one, and that's not wearing a shirt in public. Now, I get it. People, you've been in the gym, getting yourself in good shape, pumping steroids, wanting to do everything you can to show off your new body. I mean, I joke about the steroids thing. The reality is, whether you take them or not, it still requires a whole lot of work to get into that kind of physical shape. So I can appreciate it. I do understand why people want to walk around and show off their body or whatever, but the reality is, no one likes it. Culturally here, it's quite rude to not wear a shirt anywhere. Ironically, it's okay to pull your shirt up over your belly and expose your belly, but the no shirt thing is something I hear people complaining about all the time, the locals here. I know this goes back to the Buddha culture of trying to cover up as much as you can, and I understand why people do it. It's hot as hell here all the time. I'm always sweating. That's why I wear black, so you can't see it. But the reality is, unfortunately, it does make people uncomfortable. So I had a situation last week. I was in Pattaya, and oh god, this story makes me cringe. So I was in a restaurant and there was a guy in there kicking up a stink because the staff didn't want to let him in because he wasn't wearing a shirt. And of course he was Australian. We always seem to embarrass ourselves every time we go overseas, and this guy was causing a massive scene. He didn't want to put his shirt on, and we're in a restaurant, and not a indoor outdoor restaurant. We're in an inside restaurant, nice sit down restaurant, and this whole situation was just super cringe. Again, no disrespect to anyone that goes to the gym and you get yourself in amazing shape. I know it can feel good. You walk down the street and girls will be like, hey, sexy man. But unfortunately, newsflash for you, they say that to everyone. And more times than not, once a guy walks past with no shirt on, the girls will be making fun of you behind your back anyway. So put on a f***ing shirt. Now, number 4 is a little bit complicated, so bear with me here, and that is drinking in public. Now, before you all jump in the comments and say, I drink in public all the time when I have my sunset beers on the beach, I know, chill. That's not what I'm talking about. So drinking in public here is actually okay in certain situations. If you're sitting on the beach, I mean, technically you're not supposed to drink on the beach, but everyone does drink on the beach. Mostly Thai people. I've had police walk past me all the time. You'll have no troubles. As long as you're behaving yourself and not being an idiot, you won't have any dramas doing that. If you're casually just sitting down, relaxing somewhere, having some beers, that's not a big deal. If you're doing it in a park, or actually I don't know if you can drink in parks. Don't quote me on that one, but the guy walking down the street with a tall boy, long neck, drinking, you look like an idiot. See, drinking in public here is fine if you show a little bit of class. If you want to just hang out with your friends, sit down in a group and have some beers, that's actually welcome. That's very much a part of Thai culture, is sitting around drinking with your friends. There is a video that's actually going viral on TikTok and Instagram at the moment of a whole bunch of people inside a 7-Eleven drinking, and they're cheersing each other and basically having a party inside the 7-Eleven, which is super disrespectful to the people of Thailand and the people that were working in that 7-Eleven. And it's caused a whole lot of uproar here. It's gone viral for the wrong reasons, not because it's cool. It's gone viral because people are sort of upset by what they've seen in this video. So just keep in mind, there's a difference between what's legal, what's illegal, and what's socially acceptable as well. So just for the love of God, don't be that guy, no shirt and a beer walking down the street. Number 3 is one of the most important ones. One to me is super obvious, but I still see people making this mistake every single day. Number 3 is do not get into an argument with a Thai person. This one, like I said, super obvious, yet people still do it all the time. This is an argument you will never ever win. Now what I mean by that is you see people arguing over their bills in bars, you will never win that argument. I see people arguing with taxi drivers, again, you will never win that argument. It doesn't matter any kind of altercation you have, if it has to get resolved by police or by anyone of authority, they're always going to take the Thai person's side because actually the majority of the time they're right. For the men out there, arguing with Thai girls is a no-no. If there's any kind of mama-san or boss or anything like that involved, you're in for a total shit show. And I'm sure everyone watching has some kind of experience of seeing that happen or even happening to them. The bottom line, don't get into an argument with a Thai person. You know, a lot of the time when these altercations happen, you're the foreigner and you're drunk, and then you don't have a leg to stand on in those situations. You know, people complain of things like bill padding and did it happen or did you give permission? If you're drunk, you can't really keep track of what you're drinking, and you know, all these things get taken into consideration, and that argument you will lose every time. This is the new Central World Park in Bangkok. It's just opened. It's a little underwhelming. Actually, before I leave this park, I'll give you the bonus one because it kind of ties in with the last thing I was saying, and this one is by far the most obvious one. That's why it only counts as half, but that is stay out of trouble while you're here in Thailand. I know, no brainer, right? For whatever reason, every single day I see people in the back of a police car, foreigners or people here on holidays or maybe people living here, I don't know, but I just think to myself, like, why would you ruin your holiday by getting yourself into some stupid situation where you're finding yourself under arrest? Now, I know a lot of people come here like, yeah, this is my one holiday of the year and I'm gonna make it count, and you know, you think you can buy your way out of anything here, but that's not always the case. I've heard of dozens of stories of people getting kicked out of the country, getting deported, people get arrested all the time, shaken down for money. It's just, this one baffles me. It's like, why would you be so stupid to ruin your holiday, or especially to risk getting deported, kicked out of the country, or having to pay ridiculous amounts of money to get out of the trouble that you're in? When I was thinking about this video, I was only going to do 5 points, and then as I was sort of brainstorming the idea in my mind, a cop car drove past with a guy looking miserable sitting in the, you know, they sit in the back of the pickup truck. He was obviously under arrest, and I was like, idiot. And then number 2 is an interesting one, and it mostly comes down to lack of knowledge, and that's about all these new weed smoking laws and regulations that we have here. For some quick facts, weed was never completely legalized here. It was decriminalized, which is a difference, and it was originally only meant to be for medicinal purposes, but the laws around that didn't get written in time, and the places all opened up, and now the cat's out of the bag and it's too hard to put back in. Although with the change in parliament, that may be happening in the future. But I guess the important thing to know is weed is legal to smoke on private property. So in your home or in a friend's home or something like that. A lot of hotels don't allow it. You are definitely not allowed to smoke weed in public. So you can't be walking down. I see people all the time walking down the street smoking a joint, sitting on a beach smoking a joint, and a lot of this just comes down to knowledge. The people selling it, they won't often convey all the right information. They don't care, they just want you to buy it, and then the rest is up to you. I've had people telling me, oh, I was smoking the whole time I was in Thailand. I'd be walking around smoking a joint, and yeah, you got away with it, but the reality is I was hanging out one day in Phuket and just watching these police outside the bar I was sitting in, and they were just grabbing person after person after person and finding them or shaking them down for money or whatever was happening. I have seen police stop people in Bangkok here too, and also Pattaya, they're a little bit more relaxed, but it does happen. It is just something you need to be aware of because the laws and all the regulations here are quite confusing. So just to clarify, for now it's not medicinal. There was supposed to be all these different THC level restrictions, but that never happened. Basically, you're only supposed to smoke in your home, and if your neighbors or any other residents nearby complain, you actually get, I think it's like 1 or 2 warnings, and then the 3rd time you'll actually get arrested. So be careful about this one. And like I said, you might get away with it, but you might not. And then the last one, which is the most important, one of the most obvious, yet still I see people mess this up every single day. And it's simple. Don't fuck up here in Thailand. When you come to Thailand, stay away from drama when you come here. And the reason is it has repercussions. You may think you go somewhere and you get into an argument with the bar staff or have a problem with a girl or whatever it is, you may think that's the end of it, you just don't go back to that bar. But reality is, especially in places like Pattaya or Patong or here even in Bangkok, it's a small world here and everyone knows each other, everyone talks to each other. And if you mess up in one bar in Pattaya, you can bet your bottom dollar every single other bar is going to hear about it too. Something a lot of you know already, but a lot of people don't, and I always cop heat from the locals when I talk about this, is there's group chats here with tens of thousands of people in them. There's multiple, I've seen them, and they'll name and shame people. So if you've done something wrong, bang, a picture of you goes up, they say what you've done wrong, and then everyone can see that, and you will get blacklisted from these places. I've taken a scroll through some of these chats, and I know, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to talk about this, but it's brutal in there, honestly. So, you know, do your best to stay out of these problems. And the longer you spend here, you do end up developing actually a good reputation. So it can work for you in both ways. If you're good and you're nice and you treat everyone well, that will go a long way too. And the opposite, if you're a dick, well, buckle up.